Life hands us bills, deadlines, flat tires, and that one relative who thinks forwarding chain emails is still a thing. But humor, my friends, humor is the magic eraser that keeps us from going absolutely bananas. Life hands us bills, deadlines, flat tires, and that one relative who thinks forwarding chain emails is still a thing. But humor, my friends, humor is the magic eraser that keeps us from going absolutely bananas. Humor is not just about telling jokes. It's a survival skill, a superpower hidden in plain sight. It's that little spark that takes the sting out of life's punches and reminds us we're still standing, still breathing, and still capable of joy. Think about it when you laugh. Your body actually thanks you. Science shows us that laughter lowers cortisol, boosts endorphins, and even relaxes your muscles. It's like giving your soul a mini massage without the spa bill. Every chuckle you allow yourself is a prescription-free antidepressant. And the best part, you don't need a pharmacy. You don't need an appointment. You just need to lean into the silliness of the human condition. Now, let's talk perspective. When something goes wrong, a spilled coffee, a missed bus, a presentation gone sideways, you have two choices, cry or laugh. Crying cleans the eyes, sure, but laughing heals the spirit. Humor allows us to zoom out to see the bigger picture. Suddenly, that embarrassing stumble in front of a crowd isn't humiliation, it's comedy material. That argument at work isn't the end of the world. It's an episode of a sitcom waiting to be written. Humor reframes the story, and when you control the frame, you control the power. And then there's connection. Isn't it beautiful how laughter can turn strangers into friends? You've probably noticed how a shared joke breaks the ice faster than any small talk about the weather. Humor builds bridges across cultures, languages, and even generations. A laugh doesn't need translation. It's universal. When we laugh together, we're not just entertained. We're saying, I see you. I get you. I feel this too. But here's the magic secret. You don't need a stage, a microphone, or a script to practice humor. You can sprinkle playfulness into the ordinary, stuck in traffic. Pretend the GPS is narrating your tragic hero's journey through the wilderness. Doing laundry. Imagine you're auditioning for a high-stakes detergent commercial. Even grocery shopping can become a comedy show if you decide the cereal aisle is your stage. Humor transforms the boring into the brilliant. Life is too short to take the dishes, deadlines, and dust bunnies so seriously. Now, let's get real. Life will throw storms at you. You'll face heart attacks, setbacks, and losses that feel too heavy to bear. And in those moments, humor isn't about ignoring pain, it's about surviving it. Humor is resilience in disguise. Think of it as a life jacket in the rough waters of grief and struggle. When we find a way to laugh, even softly, even briefly, we're telling the world, you can knock me down, but you cannot take away my joy. That's strength. That's power. That's hope wrapped in laughter. So here's the truth. Finding joy through humor doesn't mean being a clown or laughing at everything. It means choosing light when life gets heavy. It's about giving yourself permission to smile at the ridiculousness of existence, to dance with absurdity, and to turn ordinary days into extraordinary stories. Humor doesn't erase problems, but it makes the journey bearable, and sometimes it makes it beautiful. Because at the end of the day, life is a cosmic comedy. We're all stumbling through this script, improvising our lines, tripping over stage props, and trying to find our cues. Humor reminds us to stop taking ourselves so seriously, to savor the mistakes, and to keep laughing our way through the final curtain call. So go out there and laugh more, not just for the punchlines, but for the healing, the connection, and the joy. Because humor, my friends, isn't just about making life funny. It's about making life worth living. Imagine this: you wake up in the morning, drag yourself to the mirror, and there it is, that face. Hair doing its own rebellious protest, eyes like a raccoon who's been on a 3-day bender, and you think, well, that's it. I'm auditioning for a horror film without even trying. But here's the twist. Instead of groaning, you laugh. Right there in the bathroom alone with your reflection, you let out a chuckle. And suddenly, you've taken something ordinary, something that could have been another sigh, another complaint, and you've turned it into a moment of medicine. That's the hidden truth. Humor is the cheapest, most effective prescription you will ever find. Now, let's talk about why. When you laugh, your body does this incredible thing. It's like throwing open the windows on a dusty day. Endorphins come rushing in like happy little janitors, sweeping away the stress and cobwebs. Your heart rate slows down, your muscles loosen, your breathing deepens. In that moment, you're not weighed down by bills or deadlines or whatever drama is swirling outside your door. You are simply alive, and your body knows it. And the best part, no side effects. Unless, of course, you count laugh snorting in public, which is embarrassing for about 2 seconds, but then becomes a story that keeps on giving. Think of laughter as nature's pressure valve. Every day, life piles things on top of you: an angry boss, a cranky child, a car that won't start. You carry it like a backpack full of bricks. But when you laugh, it's like slipping that backpack off for a moment. You suddenly realize, wait, maybe I don't have to carry all this so seriously. Maybe some of it is ridiculous. Humor doesn't erase problems. It doesn't pay the rent or magically fix your Wi-Fi. But it does make the load lighter. It makes you stronger for the fight because you're fighting with oxygen in your lungs and joy in your spirit. And let's not ignore the science here, because science actually agrees with the comedians. Doctors and researchers tell us laughter boosts the immune system. You laugh, and your body starts producing more natural killer cells. That's right, killer cells. Who knew your giggles were secretly little warriors going to battle against illness? Laughter increases blood flow, lowers blood pressure, and even helps with pain tolerance. You stub your toe and scream in agony, but then someone cracks a joke and suddenly the pain shifts. It's still there, but humor rewires your brain so the hurt doesn't own you. Laughter is pain's kryptonite. And here's the thing about humor, it's accessible. You don't need a prescription card, a gym membership, or a 7-step self-help program. You just need to be willing to look at the absurdity of being human. We walk around in bodies that hiccup, sneeze, and burp at the worst possible times. We try to act serious while carrying groceries, and then the bag rips and apples roll dramatically into the street like it's a scene from a slapstick film. Life is already hilarious. We just forget to notice. Every time you laugh at these little absurdities, you're dosing yourself with joy. Now, some people say, but life is hard. There's no room for humor. And I get that. Life is hard. But humor doesn't disrespect pain, it heals it. Humor is like a warm hand on the shoulder that says, yes, this is tough, but you're tougher. And you still deserve joy. That's why in hospitals, you'll see clown doctors or therapy comedians. Not because anyone's pretending illness isn't real, but because laughter brings light into a place where fear and darkness love to linger. It gives people strength to keep going. If laughter can sneak into a hospital room and do its magic, it can sneak into your daily life too. So how do you practice it? Start small. Make it intentional. When you're stressed, pause and ask yourself, what's the funny side of this? Your kid throws spaghetti on the wall? Are you furious? Or do you suddenly realize your kitchen has become a modern art gallery? You get lost driving. Are you panicked? Or do you laugh and say, well, now we're on a surprise adventure. Humor is about finding the angle that makes the unbearable a little more bearable. And if you can't find the humor in the moment, find it afterward. Laugh in retrospect. Some of the greatest family stories, the ones told at reunions again and again, are about disasters that felt miserable in the moment. That time the car broke down in the rain, or the vacation where everything went wrong, or the speech where the microphone squealed and you froze later. They become gold mines of laughter. Humor turns scars into stories and stories into strength. And let's be honest, when you laugh, you're not just healing yourself, you're spreading medicine to everyone around you. Laughter is contagious, more contagious than yawns. You laugh, and suddenly the room shifts. People relax. Tension dissolves. Humor creates ripples of healing far beyond yourself. You're not just a patient, you become the doctor, handing out joy like candy at Halloween. So the next time life feels heavy, remember this, you carry within you a pharmacy of joy. It's not locked up, it's not expensive, and it doesn't come with a warning label that says, may cause dizziness. It's laughter, it's humor. And the moment you choose to laugh, even at yourself, you've taken the medicine. Because in the end, humor doesn't just make life bearable, humor makes life beautiful. It reminds us that even in the darkest moments, the light is still there, waiting to break through with a giggle, a chuckle, or a full-on belly laugh that shakes you until your ribs ache. And that, my friends, is the healthiest ache you'll ever know. Picture this. You're carrying a tray of coffee cups into the office like some kind of caffeine superhero. You're balancing it carefully, your co-workers' hopes and dreams riding on that tray. And just as you push open the door, bam, gravity says, not today. Suddenly, you're not the office hero, you're the office sprinkler system. Coffee everywhere. Your boss looks at you like you've just spilled liquid gold. And in that moment, you have two choices. You can melt into the carpet and beg for early retirement, or you can laugh. You can shift your perspective. Instead of seeing it as disaster, you see it as comedy. You're not failing, you're auditioning for a slapstick role in the grand sitcom of life. That's the beauty of humor. It doesn't change the event, but it changes how you experience it. Perspective is everything. When life throws you into chaos, humor is the lens that takes a close-up of misery and turns it into a wide shot of possibility. Problems shrink when you look at them through laughter, because laughter says, this too shall pass, and when it does, it's going to be one heck of a story. Think about it every day we get locked into seriousness. We think, this meeting is life or death. This exam will decide my destiny. This traffic jam is proof the universe hates me. But humor flips it. Humor whispers, relax. You're not diffusing a bomb. You're just sitting in a car surrounded by other frustrated humans singing bad songs on the radio. Humor makes us step back and zoom out. Suddenly, instead of being the tragic victim of circumstance, you become the comedian narrating your own ridiculous misadventure. And there's power in that shift. When you laugh at something, you take its claws away. You're no longer being chased by the problem. You're chasing the punchline. Imagine you're late for a flight sprinting through the airport, shoes half tied, backpack bouncing like it's possessed. It's stressful, yes, but from another angle. You're the star of an action comedy. You're Jason Bourne, except instead of dodging assassins, you're dodging duty-free perfume salespeople. Humor reframes the chaos, and suddenly your heart doesn't feel like it's about to explode. It feels like it's part of the show. And isn't that what life really is? A show. We're all walking around thinking we're in a Shakespearean tragedy when in reality, half of us are in a Monty Python sketch. Perspective is what divides the hero from the victim. If you see life as something happening to you, you're crushed. But if you see it as something happening for you, or better yet, happening for your future comedy routine, you find resilience. Humor helps you rewrite the script. Now let's get a little deeper. Perspective doesn't just help with spilled coffee or missed buses. It helps with the big stuff. The heartbreaks, the losses, the failures that knock the wind out of you. Humor in those moments is not about pretending the pain isn't real. It's about giving yourself breathing room. It's about saying, yes, this hurts, but one day I'll be able to laugh about it. One day, this wound will turn into a story I tell with a smile. Humor gives you the gift of distance. It lets you step outside of the storm, even for a second, and see the rainbow forming in the chaos. Think of it like this: when you're right up against a painting, your nose touching the canvas, all you see is blobs of paint. It looks like a mess. But when you step back, you see the whole masterpiece. That's perspective. Humor is the stepping back. It's the voice that says, you're not stuck in the blob, you're part of the bigger picture. And once you see that, even the painful brushstrokes start to make sense. And the magic is, humor doesn't just shift your perspective, it shifts the people around you. When you're in a tough situation and you crack a joke, everyone exhales, the room softens. Suddenly, it's not just you carrying the burden, it's shared. Humor creates collective perspective. It tells the group, we're gonna get through this, and we might as well laugh along the way. So how do you practice it? Start by narrating your life like it's a comedy special. Stuck in traffic, say out loud, and here we have the world's slowest parade. Everyone clap for the red Toyota. It's been leading us for 20 minutes. Forget your password for the 10th time. Laugh and say, clearly, I'm protecting my Netflix account from myself. This kind of playful narration trains your brain to find the funny lens, even when frustration tries to fog it up. And here's the kicker. Humor doesn't minimize your problems, it maximizes your strength. When you laugh, you show yourself that you're bigger than the situation. You're saying, I'm not broken by this. I'm bending, and I'll bend with a grin. That shift of perspective can be the difference between despair and resilience, between giving up and getting up. So the next time life trips you, don't just curse the stumble. Step back. See the bigger picture. Ask yourself, what's the funny angle here? Because when you find it, you'll realize you're not just surviving, you're storytelling. You're living in color and comedy and humanity. And that perspective, that choice to laugh instead of collapse, is what transforms ordinary people into extraordinary survivors. Imagine walking into a room full of strangers. Everyone's stiff, everyone's guarded, everyone's clutching their coffee like it's a security blanket. You can practically hear the hum of nervous energy. Who are these people? What am I doing here? Why did I wear these shoes that squeak like a duck every time I move? And then it happens. Somebody cracks a joke, maybe about the terrible coffee, maybe about the squeaky shoes. And suddenly, the ice breaks, the walls tumble down, people smile, people laugh, people lean in, and just like that, connection is born. Humor, my friends, is the fastest bridge between two hearts. See, we humans are complicated creatures. We carry fears, insecurities, doubts, and 1,000 invisible walls we build around ourselves. But laughter is like a secret handshake. It bypasses the walls, goes straight to the soul, and says, hey, you and me, we get it. It doesn't matter if you come from different countries, speak different languages, or believe in different things. A laugh is universal. It's the same sound of joy from a child in Tokyo to a grandmother in Cairo to a teenager in New York. Humor unites us because it taps into the most basic truth: life is absurd, and we're all trying to survive it together. Think of the last time you laughed so hard with someone that your sides hurt. In that moment, didn't it feel like you'd known them forever, even if you'd just met? That's the magic of humor. It accelerates intimacy. You don't need hours of small talk about the weather or what you do for a living. One shared laugh, and suddenly you're not strangers anymore. You're co-conspirators in the comedy of existence. And it's not just about strangers. Humor deepens the bonds we already have. Families, friendships, relationships, they're all stronger when they include laughter. A family dinner without jokes is just feeding. A friendship without humor is just an acquaintance. A marriage without laughter, that's not love, that's a business merger. Humor is the glue that keeps us from falling apart when the hard stuff hits. When bills pile up, when mistakes happen, when disagreements turn tense, humor can soften the edges and remind us that we're on the same team. Now, here's the fascinating thing: humor also builds empathy. When you laugh with someone, you're saying, I understand your perspective. I feel what you feel. That shared recognition is what creates trust. Think about comedy itself. It works when you see yourself in the joke. You laugh because it's true for you too. That's why humor is such a powerful teacher. It sneaks truth into your heart without preaching. It makes you open up when you'd normally shut down. And let's talk about those tough conversations, the ones about politics, culture, or the deeply personal stuff. Humor can turn conflict into conversation. It doesn't mean we laugh everything away, but a well-timed joke can lower the defenses, soften the tension, and allow people to actually listen to each other. Humor says, I respect you enough to meet you halfway, to find the common humanity underneath our differences. That's powerful. In a divided world, humor can be the great unifier. But let's not forget the daily practice of connection. Humor is not just about stand-up routines or clever punchlines. It's about the little moments. Smiling at the cashier and joking, I guess I'm keeping the economy alive, one candy bar at a time. Teasing your friend with warmth, not cruelty. Laughing with your kids when they put socks on their hands and call it fashion. Every one of those moments is a thread, and when you weave enough threads together, you've got a tapestry of belonging. And here's a secret. The connection humor creates isn't just external. It's internal too. When you laugh, you reconnect with yourself. You silence the inner critic, the one that says you're not good enough, not smart enough, not worthy. Humor is the voice inside that says, come on, you're a beautiful mess, just like everyone else. And that self-connection is essential because when you love yourself enough to laugh at your flaws, you free yourself to love others more deeply too. Now, some people worry that humor might make them seem silly or unprofessional. But here's the truth: humor, used with kindness, actually earns respect. It shows confidence. It shows courage. It shows that you're not so fragile that you can't laugh at yourself. People trust those who can laugh because laughter is a sign of authenticity. It says, I'm human just like you. And the ripple effect, immense. A single laugh shared in a workplace can shift the energy of a whole team. A giggle in a classroom can make learning stick. A joke shared between strangers in line can brighten an entire day. Humor doesn't just connect two people, it multiplies, spreads, grows. It's like lighting a candle in the dark. One spark becomes 1,000. So the next time you're with someone, anyone, look for the laugh. Look for the moment where you can gently, playfully, authentically break the tension. Don't force it. Don't weaponize it. Just invite it in, because laughter is not about mocking, it's about uniting. It's about belonging. Humor says, we're in this together, and isn't it wild? Isn't it crazy? Isn't it wonderful? Because in the end, that's what humor really is: connection. And connection, my friends, is what makes life worth living. Without it, we're just islands. With it, we're an ocean of laughter flowing together, carrying each other, reminding each other that no matter how tough the journey gets, at least we're not laughing alone. Picture this. It's Monday morning. The alarm goes off like a fire drill in your ear. You roll out of bed, stumble toward the kitchen, and suddenly you're living in Groundhog Day. Same routine, same breakfast, same commute, same coworkers asking the same questions like NPCs in a video game. And you think, is this life? Is this what it all adds up to? Just brushing my teeth on repeat until the end credits roll. But here's where the magic comes in. You don't have to let routine crush you. You can sneak in humor, inject a little playfulness, and suddenly the mundane becomes magnificent. Take brushing your teeth. Normally, it's boring, mechanical, half asleep. But what if you turn it into a performance? Pretend the toothbrush is a microphone. Belt out your favorite song. Bohemian Rhapsody at 6 a.m. while foaming at the mouth like a rabid rock star. Not only do you start your day laughing, but your reflection in the mirror looks back and says, well, at least we're having fun. That's playfulness in routine, transforming autopilot moments into little bursts of joy. Think about commuting. Most people treat it like a prison sentence. Sit, sulk, scroll. But what if instead of cursing the traffic, you gave it a new script? Pretend you're in a slow motion race. Narrate it like a sports announcer. And in lane 3, we have the gray minivan making a bold move toward the exit. Oh, what a strategy, but wait, the red sedan is blocking. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got ourselves a thriller. Suddenly, you're not a victim of gridlock. You're the commentator of your own ridiculous car Olympics. Humor takes the sting out of monotony, even chores, the dreaded chores. Folding laundry, scrubbing dishes, vacuuming, they scream boredom. But slip in some playfulness, and suddenly they're comedy routines. Put socks on your hands and pretend you're hosting a puppet show while folding the rest. Narrate the dishwashing like it's an epic survival tale. Here we have the lone warrior scrubbing bravely against the tyranny of baked on lasagna. You're still cleaning, yes, but now you're laughing too. And that laughter is what makes the ordinary extraordinary. And let's be real, the routines aren't going anywhere. The bills, the dishes, the alarm clocks, they're here to stay. You can't run from them, but you can dance with them. Playfulness is not about ignoring responsibility. It's about changing how you meet it. Life is serious enough without us adding to the weight. Humor doesn't remove the routine, but it sprinkles glitter on the gray. It gives you back control. You're no longer just surviving your day. You're enjoying it, bending it, shaping it, making it yours. And the ripple effect, huge. When you bring playfulness into your routine, the people around you feel it too. Think of workplaces. A boss who cracks a silly joke before a meeting shifts the whole energy. Suddenly, people relax. Creativity flows, ideas spark. Or in families, when parents bring humor into the daily grind, kids don't just see chores, they see connection. A parent who makes vacuuming into a dance battle with dust bunnies is not just cleaning the floor, they're teaching joy. Humor in routine isn't selfish, it's contagious. It spills into the atmosphere and changes everything. But here's the important part: playfulness doesn't mean clowning around 24/7. It means giving yourself permission to not take every single moment so seriously. It means finding little cracks where laughter can slip in. It's turning the key of routine and opening the door to creativity. It's about choosing to be alive rather than just existing. And let's not underestimate the health of it. Playfulness relieves stress, boosts problem solving, and strengthens memory. Ever notice how much more you remember the silly moments than the serious ones? That time you wore mismatched shoes to work by accident and laughed about it, burned into memory. The time you folded laundry perfectly, long forgotten. Humor leaves the fingerprints that seriousness never can. Now here's the challenge tomorrow morning. Find one moment in your routine to play. Maybe it's putting googly eyes on your coffee mug so it stares at you while you sip. Maybe it's leaving a funny sticky note on the fridge. Eat the yogurt before it eats you. Maybe it's just winking at yourself in the mirror like you're about to pull off an epic heist. These small acts don't just lighten your mood. They remind you that joy isn't found only on vacations or weekends. It's hiding in plain sight, waiting in your daily grind. And when life inevitably gets heavy, those little pockets of play keep you afloat. They remind you that even in the repetition, you have power. Power to smile, to laugh, to turn routine into ritual. Because here's the truth: routine is not your enemy, boredom is. And humor is the cure. So tomorrow, when you're brushing, commuting, typing, folding, don't just go through the motions. Play with them. Laugh with them. Pretend the world is your stage and every moment is a chance to improvise. Because life isn't just about getting through the day. It's about living the day. And humor. Humor is how you make the living worth remembering. Picture this: life throws you a curveball. Not the fun kind like, hey, free pizza at work. No, I'm talking about the real gut punchers: job loss, heartbreak, illness, grief. Those moments when you feel like the universe is standing over you with a giant cream pie and saying, brace yourself, kid. And there you are, covered in metaphorical pie, wondering if you can even get back up. Now, most people think resilience means standing tall like a soldier, stone-faced stoic. But let me tell you, a secret resilience is not about keeping a stiff upper lip. It's about finding a reason to laugh even when your lip is trembling. Humor, my friends, is resilience in disguise, because life doesn't ask for permission. It will knock you down again and again. But laughter is the hand that helps you back up. Think about it, when you're in the middle of a storm. You can scream at the thunder, or you can laugh at the absurdity that your umbrella flipped inside out, like it's auditioning for Cirque du Soleil. That laugh doesn't make the storm stop, but it makes you stronger inside it. Humor doesn't erase the pain, but it softens its edges, makes it bearable, makes you believe you can keep going. And that's the key. Resilience isn't about pretending everything's fine. It's about saying, yes, this hurts. Yes, this is awful. But I refuse to let it steal my joy. Humor is that refusal. Humor is defiance. Humor is looking life in the face and saying, you can throw whatever you want at me, but I'm still going to find the punchline. That's power. That's survival. That's hope wearing a clown nose. Now, let's talk science for a moment, because even the white lab coats agree. When you laugh during hardship, your brain releases dopamine and endorphins, the happy chemicals. Those chemicals don't erase the problem, but they give you energy to deal with it. It's like your brain saying, okay, we can do this. Maybe not perfectly, maybe not gracefully, but we're still here. Humor strengthens your immune system, reduces your stress hormones, and keeps your heart from collapsing under the weight of it all. In other words, laughter literally makes you tougher. And toughness is the fuel of resilience. And think of history. Some of the most resilient people in the world have leaned on humor. Soldiers in the trenches cracking jokes. Prisoners telling stories to keep spirits alive. Families in dark times making each other laugh just to remember they're human. Humor doesn't deny suffering. It gives suffering company. It says, we're in this together. And as long as we can laugh, we are not broken. I'll give you an example. Imagine someone loses their job. They could sink into despair, or they could say, well, guess it's time to update my RA Summe. And by RA Summe, I mean a one-act play called Hire Me, Please. That joke doesn't change the unemployment, but it changes the energy. It shifts the person from victim to fighter. Humor is momentum. It keeps you from being stuck in the mud by reminding you the mud is ridiculous too. And when you share that humor with others, that's when resilience multiplies, because laughter is not just self-healing, it's community healing. When a family in crisis can still laugh together, they remind each other that joy still exists. When a group of friends facing hardship can joke around, they're saying, we may be struggling, but we're still alive, still together. Humor becomes a rope that ties people to one another so they don't drift apart in the storm. But here's the catch. You have to choose it. Humor doesn't always come knocking. Sometimes you've got to go looking for it, even in the darkest corners. And sometimes it feels impossible. That's okay. Resilience isn't about laughing all the time. It's about letting yourself laugh again after the tears. It's about giving yourself permission to feel both the pain and the joy, to let humor sneak in like sunlight through the cracks. So how do you practice this? Start with perspective. When something knocks you down, ask, what's the ridiculous part of this? It might not be obvious right away, but it's there. Maybe it's the irony, maybe it's the absurdity, maybe it's the sheer cosmic joke of it all. Find it. Oh, laugh at it. Because when you laugh, you're not giving up. You're gearing up. You're saying, I'm ready for round 2, life. And this time, I'm bringing jokes. And remember, humor isn't about disrespecting hardship. It's about honoring your spirit. It's about saying, I will not let this break me. Because when you laugh in the middle of pain, you're showing yourself that you still have power. You still have light. You still have a voice that can echo joy in the darkness. And let's be honest, one day that pain will fade, but the story will remain. And how much better is the story when you can tell it with a laugh? Remember when everything went wrong, and we still managed to laugh our way through it. That's resilience. That's victory. So yes, life is going to hit you. It's going to hit hard. But every time you choose to laugh, every time you turn pain into punchline, every time you let humor guide you through the storm, you're building resilience, you're building strength, you're building a life that can't be defeated. Because in the end, resilience is not just about standing tall. It's about standing tall with a grin, even if your knees are shaking. It's about holding on to humor as your shield, your sword, your secret weapon. Because laughter doesn't just make the journey lighter, it makes the journey possible. So laugh even when it hurts. Laugh even when it feels impossible. Laugh because it's the bravest sound a human can make in the face of pain. And laugh because every giggle, every chuckle, every belly laugh is proof that you're still here, still fighting, still alive. And that, my friends, is resilience at its finest. So here we are, my friends. We've traveled through laughter as a morning ritual, as a social glue, as a stress relief, as a mindfulness practice, and finally as resilience itself. And if you listen closely, you can almost hear the thread weaving through it all. Joy is not something you stumble upon by accident. It's something you choose, and humor is how you choose it. Everyday life gives you 2 doors. Behind one is bitterness, cynicism, the weight of taking everything too seriously. Behind the other is laughter, play, lightness, the reminder that you're alive and that life is messy, weird, and beautifully absurd. You may not get to choose the storms, but you do get to choose which door you walk through. And humor, that's the key. Humor is not about ignoring pain, it's about transforming it. It's not about pretending everything is fine. It's about saying, I'm still here. I can still laugh. I can still live. It's the alchemy that turns heaviness into something we can carry. It's the magic that turns strangers into family. It's the medicine that costs nothing but heals more than we realize. And I'll leave you with this. Imagine your life as a story, because it is one. And in every story, there are challenges, heartbreaks, moments of despair. But the stories we remember most, the stories that inspire us, are the ones where the characters laugh through the darkness, where they crack a joke in the middle of chaos, where they keep joy alive no matter how hard it gets. Don't let your story be one of silence and sorrow. Let it be one where laughter echoes loud enough to drown out the storms. So go out there. Find humor in the little things. Share it with the people you love. Let it soften your stress, deepen your connections, and carry you through the hardest times, because joy isn't just something nice to have. It's essential. And humor is the map that gets us there. And if you forget everything else, just remember this: the world may be unpredictable, but as long as you can still laugh, you'll never be powerless.